So long. Okay. Okay. We don't know.
I'm used to hearing it's a matter of time before anything I'm up for is sure to be mine. And I do believe it and no hurt get to receive it as I keep these words in my mind
We check.
each and
We
every
have the
time.
community.
Just prepare for it. Just
So,
prepare for it. Who knows it
look
could
up on
happen
the street.
tonight and it could happen to knows, but who really knows? Who knows, but who really knows? Death sneaks upon you like a thief in the night. Since we're not sure if it's a robber, we gotta live right, don't we might get distracted by the things that are sight. We can't go blindly when we enter the light. Before we enter the light, just prepare for it. Just prepare for it. Who knows it could happen tonight and it could happen to who knows, but who really knows? Who knows, but who really knows?
Nobody hyper than Blacker representing for overall setting.
We gotta give thanks. We got to give thanks, yes, for the ones who come before us, and we gotta shake hands. Hi, this is Singing Melody, and I'll be on the Overall Settings podcast.
Overall setting.
Yeah, me know, overall setting.
Ashes, burn them down all the way. Don't know Ras Jama represent for overall settings.
Man, it's all about overall setting.
It's all about overall.
Live on the overall setting podcast.
Overall settings. Watch your friends, watch your friends, watch your keeper. Watch your friends, watch your friends, watch your keeper. Watch your friends, know your friends. Overall settings, turn up the ends.
Overall settings, the podcast that differs, where we always highlight the icons of yesteryear, who chop the bush for the current icons of today, who set the stage for the future icons of tomorrow. But one of the things that we pride ourselves and over here, sir, is to always highlight the diamond them in the rough. Yes. Well, people, you already know. I'm coming to you live from a location nestled right on the cusp of West Philadelphia, Overbrook Park, the main line. I mean, trust me, you can't reach anywhere from this destination. I don't think there was a better place to host something so festive, so welcoming to the public, to celebrate someone who has given so much of himself to this community and the world of reggae when you really think about it. The name Jamaican Dave has become synonymous with any major show that has come through Philadelphia when it comes to reggae. You know what I say? I know we hear say man a branch out and I do some other things as well. You know what I say? You know what I mean? But the talent that he has, the natural born talent for promoting events with warrant, you know, the fruit of his labor being manifested, right? You know, me I say so. Well, this is another in-depth thing, you know, because we want to keep the primary focus on the celebration, but obviously we want whosoever know who we are dealing right now, we just kind of have a little brief synopsis of who we're talking to. You know what I mean? I will have the pleasure of being here with, right? Mr. Dave Russell, a very warm overall settings. Welcome to the man. Manners, madam, manners. Yeah, exactly.
That's what I say. I came from radio. Why? Not finding the time between you being busy and I've been busy, but I'm happy to be here, talk with you.
Well, you're a place where there's something up for them. You know what I'm saying? You know what I mean? People look for prayer. You know what I mean? Calabash, this is where the event that we're going to be discussing tonight is going to be held a couple of hours from now. We can't be said tomorrow again. You know what I mean? But tomorrow, I'm done there already. You know what I mean? But, you know, just a little brief history of, you know, where you came from to where you are now. And then, you know, we can kind of like summarize it with you know, what's going to happen a few hours from now. But, you know what I mean? Like I said, I kind of want the people to get that understanding of. Because it is very modest, you know. You know what I mean? So if me not try it out like, and if me not, you know what I mean, if me not try out like true skates, then probably I'm not going to talk about. You know what I'm saying? So I mean, you know what I'm big so.
The journey has been a. I tell people all the time, I didn't choose you, you chose me. And I think a lot of people don't understand how I started the journey and where it came from. Started, you know, as kids, the resources, you know, we're not even just about the training and how to be a professional in the industry, but we learned a lot about ourselves as kids and being in that setting at a young age. We also realized that the music was going to make something.
So hold on, stick up there. So when you mention the results, you know what I mean, like, you know, the average person, even some Jamaicans probably never really left out of them surroundings. You know what I mean? So, and I know that some of the primary places in Jamaica for tourism are Negril, Montego Bay, obviously. I know that Kingston obviously has some resorts, but that's not like really a place where people target unless them kind of want to mingle with John public. But when you're saying resort, be more specific, like where.
So in the 80s, I was, you know, working for a small sound system in my community, and we had this thing called a sound class. You know, it's real, Jack Lawn, and I think I winded in the local sound clash in my community as a child. I must have been 14 years old. But that's really where it started. I went over to Jack Lawn and we were playing with Winston Samuel, you know, the house from Stone Love. And I never forgot the night we walked into Jack Lawn, 2 dub plates. It was run by a guy called Banana Man, who used to make weird sounds. Yes. I don't know if it was luck or it just happened or it was destined to happen. So Rory at the time was in England and he was a contact with Jamaica. So that night we loaded up 3 buses from my grandparents' farm and we took like 100 people. I don't remember exactly, but a lot of people came to support me that night. And we won the event. So Mr. Samuel approached me as a, you know, I must have been
with 2 dub plates.
With 2 dub plates.
So basically, it's a mother here, David and
Yeah, that's right. So he said to me at the end of the night, he said, "Will you consider coming to the city?" And I did. I went to meet with him. I was beyond excited. at that point, my grandparents, which I spent my early years with, the countryside on the farm, didn't really understand what food meant. I wasn't a traditional student like my brothers who chose engineering. And when we grew up, my grandpa would say to me, "How are you gonna really feed your family with music?" And I think for the longest time as a child, I spent more time trying to prove to them that it was worth it, even though I didn't know what it was at the time. So to make a long story short, I signed up with FIFA. I went to the inner city, moved into UNN with and I moved up to, into living in, getting the true experience of the inner city of Jamaica. After a while, my feel for music was more of an international thing. And
what was the transition? The culture shock, leaving from the rural area into the town, the hustle, the bustle. You know what I mean? What was that?
It was exciting. Going down Kingston 13 and going down those neighborhoods to hear the sound system of those days play as a kid. That was like going to the world, really to music, some of the original selectors. And that age, you had no fear, as kids in Jamaica, I had to see it when I asked you, okay, but that was my life. I used to run up my house in the middle of the night, and run to these dances. And, so to make a long story short, we thought I didn't really work out. And I run into a guy called Winston. He had a club in Jamaica called Epiphany in Kingston. At the time, it was a really popular spot that celebrities coming in from all over America. I think one time I met Michael Jordan. If you're Jamaican, back then, we respect sport, but we didn't really know who Michael Jordan was. We weren't really impressed. The school guy that was in our club. And I think it was there I met a guy called Joey Issa, which turned out to be the son of John Issa, that owned a resort called Super Club, chain of resorts. And we became friends over the years. Over about a year, and he'd asked me if I wanted to go into a training program that they offered in management, and I accepted it. So I started that. That was really everything changed. I literally went home to my grandparents and told her the drill. And we did. We opened up a resort called Ranlido, which was next to Eden and the Crew. So I had the privilege to DJ in both clubs. And that's really when my career started. I didn't really get into, when I got to America 30 plus years ago, I really wanted to explore being a producer. And I went to a college down in Florida called Full Sail. They were just at that time trying to get their name nationwide.
Who are some of the artists? Because I know that Angel took
we used to be roommates back in Ocho-Rios.
He was a part of the Radio People Band. I don't know if it was at that particular time. I know you know Junior Jack. And if you were on that circuit, I'm pretty sure you rubbed shoulders with the likes of Pinky Myers and other people as well. Who were some of the artists that you came across when you were on that circuit? Who resort?
Burning Spear was popular back then. The Yellow Man was the king back then. I remember that very clearly. Culture was a standout. The dancehall back then was different. The music had a different meaning back then. Dancehall to me, except for the slackness lyrics, most of it still sound like about the oppression of people. And one reason why I thought, and I still think to say about music, in addition to what it does to your body, was so popular, people are attracted to the Jamaican culture and the music. And I think for any music, because it represents a part of our community that doesn't really have voice. So back then, to me, dancehall was really not, people misconstrued what it was saying, that it was modifying or promoting or supporting, gun violence. And, I looked at it like it was really talking about the oppression that they were feeling at the time. So there was really no one artist that I was drawn to in that time. I think at that age of Jamaica, Dennis Brown really was king. Garnet Silk followed him. I remember intimately in my knowledge that when Garnet came out in the 90s, his music made a real impression on me. Those are my days when I was going Area Van then when he died. So no one particular artist ever really made that because they were just all so good and they were so hungry. So I felt like everything they were singing was just so heavy, you know. So no, there really was none of that, you know. So to make a long story short, you're right. Let's kind of, you know, so when I came here, I was working at a Captain for a while, going to school, community college, and did some things at Temple. I never did go to Full Sail, and I think after 1 year, the owner of Captain, which is now Kavanaugh's, came to me and they were opening up one trend. They were trying to expand, and they asked me if I want to go to Trent to market it. And that's when my eyes opened. And it was weird because Kathmandu was awesome, right? Great place to work, made my start in this country as a DJ at the time. But I felt like there was something missing. And I ran into a gentleman at the time called Jati. I was following him, accepted an internship from him to be helping to get the word out. And literally, that's how my entire life started this by approaching him like, anywhere I can help you to promote music. And he, you know, thanks be to him, he took me on and worked together for a while. And, you know, history has it that his time in Philadelphia was no more. Right? And look at it, as much as I started a business, in some sense, I continue the legacy.
And I tell people this all the time. Say, one of the reasons why we pride ourselves on highlighting, you will never ever, we not do interview over here. Nobody over here don't have no, what you call it, no journalistic background. We do reasoning. So it's like a two brother sitting and a reason right now. I mean, not to be into the picture yet. But while in the beat journey, my respective journey was going on until our fast.
Yes.
You know what I'm saying? We never reached this yet. But what I'm saying is that, and when I say all the time, and I've said it probably for every show we do, over 500 episodes, and even outside of the platform, that when pioneers become pioneers, they normally set out to do something altogether different. And then ultimately a true pioneer becomes a pioneer by default.
You know, the terminology of names such as pioneer, very hard to attain as any sort of imagination. In my younger days, I enjoyed some sense of celebrating my work. In my, I want to say my older days, my wiser years, I think sometimes when I walk the street, people look at me and either don't recognize me, you know, they don't really know that I am who I am. But I really try to focus for the last 28 years. The mission is really to bring the best caliber of music out of Africa, Jamaica, and the rest of the diaspora from the Caribbean. And I tell people all the time, sometimes we made and sometimes we didn't make. But what I really like about my work, and I will always say this from day one, when I go on stage and introduce an artist that I'm presenting, and that artist does his job, which is giving the people what they came to see, and I look in the audience and I walk around and I see people from different backgrounds, stages of life that otherwise never made a connection. And they strike up conversations, and I meet people years later, they became friends, they got married, they had kids, they started communities. And that is probably the most gratifying experience that I get from my work, when we can broaden the appeal of the music and then also meet people from different backgrounds to show them the great things that we as a people are capable of doing. And when we can deliver that in an environment where, like Bob said, and some of the greats who believe in what I am a great stand advocate of diversity, I think is the way to the future for those who don't get it or support it. I think it's their loss. I think when the most great created us in different colors or form, Chinese, I think the message that we all miss is that only through the unification of the differences can we really understand what the works that we're here to do is done. You know, so when people come together under that context, it's really exciting because new things and new ideas are formed from different backgrounds, right? So my whole support system for that is really part of why, and I find that in music is one of the few places where you don't really get. In music, you have to really be there really is no way you're good or you're not, and that really becomes the parameter of who you really truly are. Exactly.
You know what I say? And obviously, like I said, it was written long ago. I feel like every single person that you come across in life, every single experience that you experience in life was something that was destined for you and you and me.
I'll tell you this further. My true fundamental belief at this stage in my life is that I think everything that you need, wants, can be tricky. We all want a lot of things, but the core fundamentals of these are pretty basic. And I'll give you an example of that. Think about us as immigrants, people, right? We journey here in different times and different years. And I think I could speak for someone in this, not both. But for myself personally, for all that it took to cross the border to get here, grateful more than anyone else for the opportunities. You really couldn't get these opportunities where we come from. But at the end of the day, what I find really funny is everything we ran away from to come here to get what we think we needed. Everybody who has what we want, or we think we want, is trying to get to that. Because the simpler form of things are it really. So yeah, right. So when you say something like that, it makes me think, in those type of terminologies, a mindset. So without going any further into that, because we're chopping it up and I have to go soon. It's been a roller coaster ride. We've had our challenges. I think anyone who's been in business, just being alive with itself, challenges to appear. But we've been able to weather the storm. And
so, like I say, I'm convinced first and this time I'm gonna have to come back over here. And then
the stories are
for those of you who don't know, we definitely have something in the works where we're gonna try to do a every Thursday night live where I'm gonna incorporate some giants, some future icons, some icons of the past. You know what I say? We're gonna cover artists. You know what I say? We put a live night up where we have the writers every Thursday. So in the meantime, between time, we're going to fast forward 36 years from when it all started in Jamaica.
7 kids later, I'm still standing.
You know what I say? 14 years of it, standing behind a sound system with an iconic figure like Weepo. You know what I say? To the point where I'm left out in comfort zone, reach our path. You know what I mean? Never really worked out because it was not destined to be. It was destined to be in a sense that a stepping stone. So where he is now.
You said something right, and I have to check with this. Now that you can never truly grow and expand and see your true potential as a human fundamentally if you only seek to get a comfort zone. Some of the most awkwardest and most uncomfortable position that we put ourselves in is not only where we truly understand who we are, it's really how we really kind of see what our capabilities are. So I wouldn't say I seek discomfortness or awkwardness in relation to a conversation, but a lot of times when I get myself in those, I look at them as a learning experience because that's truly all it is.
Of course.
Because the way I look at life is, Pico, if you have a life, then you have to always think in the future. The past really is part of the reason why we have not been able to move as a people and even as a person. So I have some very simple fundamental principles like that. But I want to talk about what's happening tomorrow night. So let me give people a bit of an idea about this. The phone has been ringing. I haven't done, as you know, Pete. I think my last major birthday party was Electric Factory. The same 3,000 people, I think it was, and I just didn't really get the concept of doing it every year. And I didn't. COVID came. I woke up and thank the most high that I'm still here. And didn't know if I wanted to go back in this music business. It changed so much, and it's still changing from what it was 5 years ago. But I didn't see a lot of people I haven't seen in a while. And I thought this would be a great way to do an event. Class, by definition, is determined by who think what class is. But I created an event here tomorrow night where I call, if you've been here for as long as I have, and you truly have seen the works, not only of myself, others who have played in the sandbox. I think in addition to being my birthday, it's a celebration of the movement, of the rebirth. Ironically, when I got the Bob Marley trailer from the Marley camp at Paramount Pictures before he became on stream, say, look at this coming. I said to myself, 2024 for reggae music worldwide is going to be monstrosity. Different word, right?
So
all right, I can go with that too. Right? So I think we're priming ourselves to really be in position for that. I mean, I don't think it was an accident. It took 50 years to make Bob Marley movie after it's dead over long it's been. But a lot of people in their mind are saying the music is dead. It is down. But I think that if you understand where this music came from, it is rooted into music. And as long as music is alive, it's going to be around. So Saturday night is about celebrating my Earth Strong birthday, born day, as much as about the camaraderie, about what we have done and what you have supported and also contributed to, including artists like Fico, IE, and many more will be joining me Saturday night, especially at the appearances on stage. So to make a long story short, it's not just a party, it's an event. At this point, we have no more reservations for dinner. That's completely sold out. So now we just have the party.
yeah, but yeah,
Yes.
promote the see in a black high school and thing that type of stuff.
Well,
You know why misconstrue for them and show them I want what? Me see a white shirt still.
the suggestion is, this is my idea for sprinkle something on the white.
Okay.
So if you can't have all white, I chose to represent my ancestral land, which the older I get, I draw nearer to.
So and I like say nobody come not free all right. So them still can keep
The dress code is suggested, it's not a requirement. We'd like you to be an all
It's not
white.
mandated.
It's not mandated.
We're
It's a
not
suggestion.
following up
Yes. Yes.
Yes. If we're not following up to
So basically tomorrow night we don't have any more space, any more reservations for dinner. All we have now is tickets from 10 to 3, which gets you access to the live music. 2 rooms, one with live music and one with the DJ. We're planning to stay till 3 in the morning. If you plan to come, please hit Eventbrite up, Jamaican Day 50th birthday celebration tomorrow night, Calabash, 6208 Lancaster Avenue, Overbrook section of Philadelphia. An amazing venue. The decorators are here now trying their best to make it look the way it's supposed to look.
there are a lot of people them where no man drive. You have trolley right yourself, you have Uber, you have Lyft, you have somebody where you can Uber drive from a designated driver. Probably our next year we'll have to do skin mash up or a bus or something. Can you require that? If number say I can go that. So at the end of the day, that's something we're going to discuss after here. But in the meantime,
Tell them I just come from the work like this. The older you get, you start to realize that only through being humble and as hard as it is to be sometimes, you never really see the true gift. I appreciate people who vision me in those ways or give me those kind of activated, and maybe I do deserve it for what you've done in East Coast in the last so many years. But the older I get, I try to pride myself in one to find a simpler version of myself. So I don't see myself as anything such. I just see myself as a guy who is passionate about and like many other are, including yourself. But I speak only of my works, about the work that I do. And I'm just hoping that you'll come on tomorrow night if not for nothing, but celebrate that with me. If you're a Cancerian and you're on my streaming or on Elfico's streaming, stop by tomorrow night. If not for nothing, have a cheers with us. Tomorrow night, Calabash. So hold on. For those who know me, probably check in my Facebook page. I'm older than 50, that is correct. But remember, Homeford was the game changer. We had chance to do something. So I wanted to just kind of feel like I had the experience for 50th birthday again. So please, Master, call a friend, tell a neighbor, rain or shine, hot or cold. We're up and running. Tomorrow to Calabash. Unfortunately, we have no more dinner reservations available for the dinner part, but we have space available for everything else, the after party and the live show. We have to run right now, Pico. One love, Philadelphia, 68. And hold on, I have to pick up a couple things. Tomorrow night we have Misha Steele, an excellent sister out of New York City, headlining my birthday bash. I have a bunch of musicians from the East Coast that are flying in, create a band. I still have no name yet that we're going to create. Pico is a part of a symphony of about 10 of the local reggae artists that we know are going to be a part of a tribute set for the Philadelphia community. And then we also have Mike from Tabernacle Band, a wonderful brother that has offered his services and accepted to come and do a tribute tomorrow night. So we have DJ Finey, I think one of the best that we have for these kind of events. DJ Ross, another great DJ. Steve Stunner from Delaware will be here. We have some special guests that will pop up through the night. See you guys tomorrow night. One love, God bless. Salute. Rastafari. All running.